The Spiritual Husband. In a small village nestled in the heart of the African jungle, there lived a young woman named Akua. She was a beautiful and kind-hearted person, loved by all who knew her. However, Akua's life was not without its challenges. She had been married 3 times, but each marriage ended in tragedy. Her husbands would mysteriously disappear, leaving her alone and heartbroken. The villagers whispered among themselves about Akua's cursed life. Some believed she was haunted by evil spirits, while others thought she was a witch who had made a pact with the devil. But Akua knew the truth. She was being tormented by a spiritual husband, a malevolent entity that had attached itself to her. One day, Akua decided to seek the help of a powerful juju priestess who lived on the outskirts of the village. The priestess, named Mama Aku, was known for her ability to communicate with the spirits and to cast out evil entities. Akua traveled through the dense jungle, following a narrow path that wound its way through the trees. As she walked, the air grew thick with an eerie, unnatural silence. The trees seemed to loom over her, their branches like skeletal fingers reaching out to snatch her. Finally, Akua arrived at Mama Aku's hut. The priestess greeted her warmly and invited her to sit by the fire. Akua explained her situation, telling Mama Aku about her missing husbands and the strange, terrifying occurrences that had been plaguing her. Mama Aku listened intently, her eyes glinting with a knowing light. When Akua finished speaking, the priestess nodded thoughtfully and began to rummage through a large wooden chest. From the chest, Mama Aku produced a small, leather pouch filled with a fragrant, powdered herb. She instructed Akua to sprinkle the herb around her hut and to burn some of it in a small fire, allowing the smoke to waft up to the spirits. This will protect you from the spiritual husband, Mama Aku explained. But you must be careful. The entity is powerful and will not give up easily. Akua thanked Mama Aku and set off back through the jungle, the leather pouch clutched tightly in her hand. As she walked, she felt a sense of hope rising up within her. Maybe, just maybe, she could finally break free from the spiritual husband's grasp. But as she approached her hut, Akua noticed something strange. The air around her seemed to be growing colder, the shadows deepening and twisting into grotesque, living things. Suddenly, a figure materialized in front of her. It was tall and gaunt, with eyes that glowed like embers from the underworld. Akua knew at once that this was her spiritual husband. "You think you can escape me?" the entity hissed, its voice like a rusty gate scraping against concrete. "I have claimed you as my own, and you will never be free." Akua tried to run, but her feet felt rooted to the spot. The spiritual husband began to laugh, a cold, mirthless sound that sent shivers down Akua's spine. And then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the entity vanished. Akua was left standing alone in the darkness, her heart pounding with fear. But she refused to give up. Remembering Mama Aku's instructions, Akua sprinkled the powdered herb around her hut and lit a small fire, allowing the smoke to waft up to the spirits. As the night wore on, Akua began to feel a sense of peace creeping over her. The spiritual husband did not return, and she was finally able to sleep, lulled by the soft crackling of the fire. But the next morning, Akua woke up to find a strange, gruesome gift on her doorstep. It was a severed goat's head, its eyes frozen in a permanent stare of terror. Akua knew at once that the spiritual husband had left the gift, a warning that she would never be able to escape its wrath. But she
refused to be intimidated. With newfound determination, Akua set out to uncover the truth about her spiritual husband. She spent hours researching the local folklore and speaking to the village elders, trying to understand the entity's motivations and weaknesses. And then, one night, Akua received a vision from the spirits. In the vision, she saw a dark, foreboding forest, the trees twisted and gnarled with age. She saw herself walking through the Seven Forest, the spiritual husband lurking just out of sight. But as she walked, Akua noticed something strange. The trees seemed to be shifting and changing, their branches reaching out to snag at her clothes. And then, she saw it. A great, ancient tree loomed in front